go.
Afternoon, David.
Afternoon, Dave.
When you start your carry on, boy. Right, now, apparently I missed a super chat from Alistair M. Kerr this morning for £50. I want to thank Alistair very much for that kind contribution. Alistair, you've been a rock to the channel, and you've been great when it comes to these contributions. Thank you. Now let's get Facebook on board before I forget. Edit privacy.
Whilst David's sorting that out, did you all duck yesterday? No, yeah. Did you all duck yesterday when Apophis came to call? 19,000 miles above our heads, we had an asteroid that was bigger than 3 football stadiums that flew across our heads. There you go. November the 13th. That's what it's going to remember.
I can't say that I actually noticed it in the night sky last night, David, while I was out walking the dog.
No, there you go. 19,000 miles. Don't forget, it was on the other side of the world when it came with it.
Okay, so we're only going to see it here in the Northern Hemisphere, no?
Passed over mostly Pacific regions.
Hi, Tina from Dundee. Welcome aboard. First to the Facebookers I've seen. Also, folks, Reagan a Week phoned me earlier, for those of you who watch his YouTube channel, and asked me to do a round table with him on the 12th of December, so I said aye. There you go. So 12th of December, I'll be doing Reagan a Week's round table with other YouTubers. Should be fun.
That'll be fun.
Right, David. I suppose any news? Oh, aye, David wasn't supposed to be with us today, folks, but apparently his plumber has contacted him to say that they sent the wrong bit.
Yeah, it was.
Right,
it should be that shape, but anyway, yeah.
There you go. Was that making you use me a pair of engineers?
I've got one of these little cameo sinks in the bathroom. Want a proper sink so I can get shaved.
Aye.
That's it. Because I can't stand up and get shaved in the shower anymore. There you go.
Why don't you just say, well, I didn't grow a beard?
No. Next question.
Okay, let's go on with it. Oh, wait. Let's go on with it, David. I guess we'll start on the news that Stephen Flynn has been joined by Stephen Gittins and David Duggan on looking to be elected as MSPs in 2 years' time, or less than 2 years' time, if it's 18 months' time.
Well, to be honest with you, that is certainly as far as Stephen Flynn's concerned. I nicknamed him the Hitman, right? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Seriously, Stephen Flynn come up the road, obvious choice for First Minister, but it's a long way to go before the 2026.
First thing we have to do is get to a conference and change the rules, David. As you know, the party changed the rules to prevent that from happening.
And what we can do is we can elect an interim First Minister at that conference. That's simple, right? Ready to keep the seat warm for Stephen Flynn coming up the road. Simple as that. There you go.
Good afternoon, Public Nuisance 1 and 2. Good to see you in the audience today, Karen. You'd have missed that, David. Karen, Dean and I were up to a wee bit of mischief so they could go on a fishing trip. I never asked what the fishing trip was, but you know me, I like a bit of mischief.
All right, okay.
So, what we need to discuss here, David, is not just the fact that we'll need to change the rules to accommodate these three want to run for Holyrood. Do we want them in Holyrood?
Yes, definitely.
We could do a fresh up in Holyrood, couldn't we? We could do a wee refresh in Holyrood.
We need more power, more. How would you print? How would you say? We need more SNP power at Holyrood. At the moment, the SNP look weak and watery. Seriously.
Well, as I say, the other reason why we need it, David, to get into the serious business of it, never mind the characters that they are, and the fact that we do need a refresh in the pack, The real reason why I think this should be allowed as a party member, and I will vote for the changing of the rules, is because the way they're messing with devolution, we actually need them to be striding both houses.
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
we
it's
need
all
them
about...
to be a 1 foot in each house to try and protect the devolution.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's all about independence,
Woof.
independence, independence. Wow. Jordy Beatty.
Jordy Beatty, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Your wife finally got a disability payment, obviously the back pay rate, it would appear, and you would like to make a contribution to the food bank baby banks. Thank you very much. That is an outstanding contribution.
It really is.
Absolutely outstanding contribution. Right, that was very generous. And Alistair this morning, thank you for the 50 as well. I'm sorry I missed it. Now, to say what I think at this point in time, with the way they're messing with devolution, then it'd be best if we have some MSPs stroke MPs that'll get their foot in each door. And that way we can keep an eye on what's happening and be able to give honest opinions of what's happening to the Scottish Parliament, because as we know, Westminster tends to tell them nothing and just say things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. I mean,
so having a few straddling both houses is a good idea, in my opinion, at this point in time. So when it comes to voting to change the rules, I'll be voting to change the rules.
Well, I'll be voting for anybody that's for independence, independence, independence.
Well, as I say, I'll be voting to change the rules, not just because of independence, but because I think the way they're going to fuck with the devolution settlement, it's best that we have people who are in both houses who can explain, going across the way what's happening.
But truth is, we actually don't want devolution anymore. We want independence. Simple as that.
You do. 50% is do. But we need to find out how we get there.
Devolution is concerned a failed experiment. It's a failed experiment. It should not have lasted as long as it has. It should have gone on from devolution straight into Scotland becoming an independent nation. Simple as that.
That's not what
well, if you imagine that was the intent at the end of the day by the Scottish UN delegation.
Right, UK government admits it broke the law in opening up the Jackdaw and Rosebank oil and gas fields. This is the ruling that's been given in the Court of Session here in Scotland. The case was brought by Greenpeace and Uplift, which are two climate activist pressure groups. And we spoke about this before, David. It's down to the due diligence that they didn't do when it came to a climate impact when the Tories were in power. So in 2022, they allowed the Jackdaw fuel to go ahead with an environmental impact which didn't count the burning of the gas, but only counted the extraction and the area it was being extracted from. And apparently the same thing happened in the case of the Rosebank fuel. Wow. Alistair, that's a lot of money today, sir.
Alistair.
Wow, that's 100 quid for you today and all, Alistair. That's nuts. Wow.
Right.
Thank you very much, Alistair. Right, anyway, Greenpeace and Uplift go to court with in the Scottish Court of Sessions, and the government admits acting illegally, or the previous administration had acted illegally, but the present government admits that they acted illegally. We are now at the case, David. We know that they're not going to shut these.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Shell or whatever oil companies are also involved, right, are not going to stop their operations.
Well, that's what they're arguing in the court session right now, because
Rosebank is going to remain in place, right? What we'll do is
Yep.
do a statement regarding the effects on the local area, right?
Well, the argument that Shell and others are making in the court of session right now about no shutting these fields down is that it would take too much to open them back up again, apparently. Turn the drill on, what's a biggie?
Yeah.
And the other argument they're having at the moment is commercial arguments, as I say, and at this time they're pleading with the judge not to shut them down while they do these impact assessments. And they're also trying to explain why this particular assessment wasn't done.
Impact assessment. The impact assessment should be worldwide.
That's the problem.
In actual fact, they'll get away with doing an impact assessment for 200 miles from the actual rig itself, right? End of story.
Well, the oil companies are arguing, David, that because of the different uses that these fossil fuels will be put to, it's very hard to calculate what the impact would be worldwide or on climate change, because that's the bit they missed. Right, so if you're using it to produce electricity somewhere, the gas, it'll have a different impact if you're using it for cooking. That's their argument. And of course, if you're using the oil for heating or for vehicle transport or whatever, they're saying it's too difficult to calculate what the impact would be for these. And that's what they're arguing in the court at the moment. That's the whole base of the argument. But will these fields keep operating, David?
Yes. Yes, they will. I want them shutting down as quick as possible, but unfortunately, not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, I would like to be closer on, David. And I'd like this transition to be quicker. But the one thing I do agree with you on is that electric vehicles are not the way forward.
Common sense.
But see, this is a big case, but we're about to see this present administration overrule the court if the court tells them to stop their operations until the impact assessment is properly done. We will see Westminster overrule the Scottish court.
Yeah.
We will. Either that or they'll kick it up the stairs to the Supreme Court and they'll overrule
what the political ramifications of that are, we don't know yet. Because the idea is that the Scottish court should have as much power as the English court. As simple as that.
The Supreme Court, right?
And if you overrule the Scottish court and its findings and what it produces, then really I've got to say that is a political
another constitutional crisis coming down the road. That's what it is, David. There's another constitutional crisis coming down the road. And as these constitutional crises mount up, they're going to piss more and more Scots people off. And that's important, because then the pressure does start to swing. Because then we'll get over that tipping point that Seamus was talking about.
Well, only if it is obvious what's happening. It needs to be made obvious to all and sundry of what is happening.
That's where the problem will come, because our media will just cover it up. It's a bit like the Carry On Me, Westminster and its continued support for Israel. I mean, declassifieds covered the crimes that the UK is complicit in, you know what I mean? But we'll get to that later. Right, National Care Package, or National Care Plan, has not been scrapped, abandoned, apparently. No, it's just been kicked into the long grass.
According to Mr. Gray.
According to Neil Gray, that's right.
The problem with it is that in terms of devolution, we do not have guarantee that if this is brought forward as a policy, as a bill by the Scottish Government, that it won't be knocked back under Section 35, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing I can say where it's got half a chance is if England bring in a national care service, and then Scotland will be allowed to have a national care service.
Well, as we know about the complications in getting this off the ground, it was ready to go in 2022, and the trade unions and the councils wouldn't honour their powers, the trade unions wouldn't honour their employees. Right? And then, of course, coming out the other end of the pandemic, as we did, we've seen the crash, and then budgets all get slashed to fuck. Even deeper than what they were being slashed. So what they're telling us is it's been kicked into the long grass until public finances.
And the simple answer to it is independence, independence, independence.
Well, to be fair to you, David, for once you're no talking fish. Because we are going to start with a clean sheet and plenty of resources. Yes. And if you don't know about the clean sheet thing, check out Professor Murphy's video on how much does Scotland owe. And the final figure is fuck all.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And he goes down through why it would be nothing in that video. Right, now, Humza Yousaf has went to war with Elon Musk.
Seemingly, Mr. Musk is playing a dirty trick. The dirty trick is that Elon now has the power to have a peek inside everybody's social media, especially people that he wishes to take down, such as Humza Yousaf.
Yes.
So what he's done is he's taken a peek inside Humza Yousaf's social media for years, and that's what Humza is complaining about.
He's also doing it with Starmer, but this Musk has got access to their private messages on X, or what they call direct messaging on X. Yeah. Right? Now, anybody wants to send a direct message on X is after fucking chump knowing that he's got backdoor keys. So if you're a celebrity, of course, or a politician, if you're daft enough to send a direct message or private message on X, he's going to use it. And he's going to use it. Going to compile that information.
But the implication is it doesn't matter what platform you've been on in the past, that Elon Musk has the power to look into it. Right? So that means that he's playing a dirty game. Simple as that.
See, Elon's the new Bond villain on steroids, apparently. He's the new baddie in the world.
We want you to die, Mr. Bond. We want you to die.
But see what's interesting is, just as Humza wades into Elon Musk is wading into Starmer. He starts his war back up Starmer. So, folks, if you don't want the space Karen reading your direct messages, don't send anyone X. You know, could he access all the other platforms now he's in government?
He's not going to read every. What he does is he targets people. And if you imagine Humza Yousaf was somebody that Musk targeted. So simple as that. You know, it doesn't matter if he maybe with a few people help him. You know, like, can you find out all there is to find out on this Humza Yousaf, and let me read it. Simple as that. You know.
Yep. See, the fact that he's got backdoor keys to direct messaging is frightening, though. If you're a superstar or a politician who uses that platform, my advice: don't use a platform.
Yeah, but there you are. Thank goodness I got rid of Twitter. I did the same. So the easy thing to do is just stop using it. Some of that.
That's what I've done. I've stopped using it. But know that Elon Musk wants to look at it, and I've got to say.
That's right.
You know, but anybody of any prevalence or prominence in the world, I would stay fuck away from X.
Yeah.
It's a sewer. It is a sewer. But the fact that Space Karen's got the backdoor keys, you know, shout out to anybody in a public, but in a
Kevin
public,
Rowe says the musket ball.
must get a musket ball, aye. But as I say, it's actually quite frightening, David. Imagine let's just say you're in a public body and you're in a permanent position. Say you're head of health or something like that, and you're being naughty behind your wife's back or something, and you're using DM. He knows about it.
Look, we've had this situation since the beginning of the web. You've seen it. You've seen it. What about the wee laddie in Lanarkshire Council who ended up getting pulled out because of his past, right?
Aye.
You've got to look at things like that, right? And say to yourself, is my past squeaky clean? If it's squeaky clean, then fine, you're well built for public life. However, if you're squeaky clean, that clean, you're a fucking bore, and you shouldn't be near the place in the world.
I don't know, David. I mean, I would like to get cleaner than Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, not like the Christian fundamentalists voting for that in that job. I will. Right, let's move on. A bit of situation in Edinburgh as well.
Which situation are you on about? There's quite a few situations at the moment. Are we on about the council?
I'm on about the homeless.
One of the 700 people put on the fucking streets.
Yes, apparently. Now, what this story is about, folks, is Edinburgh's introduced a licence system for properties who are on short-term let, long-term let, that sort of thing, as well as hotels that are already licensed and things like that. Now, the thing is, the properties that these 700 people have been housed in since the pandemic, they all failed to get accreditation. So Edinburgh Council just turfing this lot out in the street.
In actual fact, you read between the lines, and you can actually see Edinburgh Council that have been guilty of this in the past, that are effectively looking at those 28 properties that these people inhabit and thinking, what can we do with those 28 properties? Well, we can't at the moment because there's 700 people in them. It doesn't matter. If they get the people out of them, they can do them up.
They can do whatever they like with them, that's right. The owners can get them back and do what they want with them. From my point of view, if these 28 properties are housing 700 homeless people, and apparently there's 23, 27 families amongst this, the right thing for Edinburgh Council to do is to buy these 28 properties and bring them up to spec. Because that's a sensible thing to do, rather than turf all these people out in the bloody street.
It's politically, it's a bad look. End of story, right? Here's something that might interest you, right? Edinburgh University have been telling their students that are well off, are privileged, right? Stop being so snobbish towards people from Scotland and people from cheaper backgrounds, right? Seriously. Seriously. Can you imagine that? Can you honestly imagine that? I knew that.
Well, actually, I was reading an article today, David, on Edinburgh University, and apparently there's foreign students there who are claiming about discrimination. There's people from poorer backgrounds there who feel that these posh people are discriminating. On the X thing, by the way, before we travel on and into things that we're on down that road, there's something, I don't know if you know this, but the Guardian pulled their accounts for X yesterday, citing it was a fake news platform and too extreme.
Oh, okay, all right.
So the Guardian has pulled its X accounts. It was announced yesterday.
Okay, the Guardian have been a decent newspaper for years and years and years, right? Is it possible that something was said in the Guardian regarding attacking Twitter or X or whatever they're called this fucking week, right?
Oh, and they'll be
Yeah.
What do you mean? Don't know, but I know it was announced yesterday they were closing their Twitter account.
I mean, you'll find that this will cause wars between various, like companies, broadcast companies, whatever, right? End of story.
Aye. And according to Nathan, the English students have got quite a bit posh. I can assure you there's a fair amount of posh people here in Scotland as well. I mean, if you look at Mr. Milligan there, I mean, he's a posh eccentric. You ever seen one?
Mr. Who?
Mr. Milligan.
Posh. Hey, you need to readdress that, David. I'm the least posh person you could ever find.
You're a posh old eccentric. So anyway, 700 homeless people are about to hit the streets of Edinburgh. Not good. And I guess the railway stations are going to get busy again.
That's true.
The benches will all be taken up with people sleeping on them all night. Nuts, man. But see, put them on the street. That shouldn't be allowed. They should be moving them into properties that are fit for human habitation. You know? Right, let's move on. Sue Gray tells Keir Starmer to fuck off.
Well, I don't think she told him to fuck off. I think she maybe said to him, look, I'm terribly sorry, I can't take that position.
No, David, she got After the fallout and her being replaced as his chief of staff and shunting her after this imaginary job, she's had a look at it, she's reflected on it and told Starmer, fuck off, I'm away to work somewhere.
Yeah, it's possible there'll be a future court case regarding that, because you can't just move somebody in that sort of position without there being recrimination.
Oh, it's your money, David. She'll have been compensated, believe me. She'll have been paid off.
Thank you, June. Thank you very much.
June, you don't know me, You drink tea, it's pinky up in the air, you know.
Get on with it. Get on with it. What the heck?
So, no, she has to tell him to go and take a run on himself. And she has told him that, no, she doesn't want the position and she will be moving on to do other things. In other words, stick your party up your arse, stick your government up your arse, I'm off.
Yeah, all right.
But there will be, no doubt, a suitable compensation package put in place, so we'll have to watch for it, folks.
You'll have to watch it quite hard, because things like that tend to get swept under the carpet a bit. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Let's see what Glasgow media is going to say. Glasgow media, X is a superb platform now. Gone are all the snowflakes who reported every post that disagreed with them. It's a genuine place for FOS, whatever that is.
Well, the one thing I can tell you is that gone are all the snowflakes who report every post that disagreed with them.
I can see that, David, aye. But it's a genuine place for...
Calling them snowflakes is wrong. A lot of the posts that were to be disagreed with, and don't forget, it contained every opinion you could possibly have. Because someone complained about it,
Right, he's absolutely right. It's a genuine place for full of shite now, you know what I mean? So it's a great place for having fun and sending out conspiracy theories and twisted crap.
FOS is freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Full of shit.
Chris Wilson has correctly said that FOS is freedom of speech.
I know that, David. Right. I do know when I thought about it, but full of shite is a better description for X. But some people like it, you know. I mean, a lot of people are addicted to it, David.
Yeah.
You know.
What was it David Cameron did? He mispronounced. Was it LOL? It's laugh out loud. But what was it David Cameron thought it was?
What, LOL?
Love. Was it lots of love? Was it something like that?
Fair news. Works for me. Freedom of speech or full of shite. Hey, it works for me.
All right. Come on.
Right, hey, Rachel Reeves to carry out.
Before we carry on with another item, right? There's one thing I wanted to bring up. There's a possibility of people losing their jobs at Dundee University. Dundee University looks as if they're going to have a £30 million deficit, which they obviously, as a university, that cannot handle that kind of deficit, right? But what worries me is there may be other Scottish universities that suffer in the same way.
Aye. There will be.
Who's from Liverpool? Lot of love.
Aye, he blasted a past Priscilla. So, Rachel Reeves to carry on. Rachel Reeves to carry out. Carry out Jeremy Hunt's pension rate plan. Yeah,
fuck's sake. Yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot of people in the public services, councils. That's really going to hurt, because you're going to take all 80 councils right the way throughout the UK, and she's going to use the pension pot that they have for their private pensions.
That's phase 2, David. Phase 1 is to open up the workplace pensions.
Yeah.
To for the workplace, the hedge funds that manage the workplace pensions to speculate on new starts. David, what's the stats like for survival of new starts?
Red 22. Bet on Red 22 on the wheel, would you please?
Thank you,
David. With that amount of money, please. Let's see what it brings in.
It's exactly what they're going to do, David. But I haven't had a look at the recent stats, but the stats I am aware of, the most recent stats, 70% of new starts fail within the first 3 years.
Yeah. Yes.
And in this economic environment, it's going to be even more.
Yes.
So it would appear that the government's going to allow these hedge funds to speculate with our pensions and fucking blow them.
Do you remember we used to have people called business angels?
Yes.
Business angels used to take on a new start company, and they used to put money in behind it and all the rest of it, and they'd leave bringing the money back out until the company was well running and all the rest of it, right?
Well,
you don't get that many business angels nowadays. They're few and far between.
Yes, and that's because they were startups that fail. You know.
Yeah.
Chris, you're probably too young to get a state pension, son. You're right. I'll not be there. But what makes it worse is that workplace pension that you're building right now, they're going to gamble it away, and then they're going to take the councils and the government bodies, public sector pensions in phase 2. And gamble that away. Apparently now, it will release 80 billion. This is phase 2. It will release 80 billion for infrastructure and investment. That was going to
in actual fact, as a prediction, you could say that these people are going to become the waspy woman of the future.
Aye. But listen, if they start this wheeze, I'm 9 years away from drawing my workplace pension, and I want that to top up my state pension.
Yeah.
And they'll have 9 years to have blown it.
Yeah. And then what we've got is we've got a situation whereby they try that with the councils, then you think, what? If that's been successful, what can we do it on now? Oh, let's do it on the NHS pensions. That's more public pensions for us to have a go at.
Yep.
And my
go right.
My goodness me.
As we know, Hunt put phase 1 in action, and that bill's passing through the Parliament as we speak.
Yeah.
And Rachel Reeves just picked up what he dropped off, and has moved from the workplace pensions onto the public sector pension pot.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
That's what you get for voting Labour Party, says Robert Bruce. Right? In actual fact,
No, they know I haven't, but when I get round to Dana, I'll give you a bell because you know how you've obviously done it right. So no, I haven't.
Yeah. But that thing that Robert Bruce said, that's what you get for voting Labour. End of story.
Very true.
It is independence. Independence. That allows us.
You're just getting boring. Save it for the end, will you? The thing about it is, it didn't matter whether it was voting the Labour Party in this case, because this was the Tory policy.
Yeah.
She's just extending it.
It doesn't matter whether they're called Tories or Labour. They're both Tories. They're all Tories.
Aye. And you're right, Stephen Bankier. The Great Pension heist is on.
Yeah.
This is happening, folks. They're going to take our pension pots and speculate on the markets. Not the way that they normally do, by making investments in things that are normally, sure, at making money. Oil, gas, weapons, war, banking. You know, what they're going to do here is when Mrs. McGumpher opens a sweetie shop in the Sultan's Corner, they're going to give her some money out of your pension pot. And when that business doesn't survive because nobody's got disposable income to spend in the sweetie shop, there goes your fucking pension pot, pal.
Yeah.
So that's an illustration of what these people are doing.
So what are you? Is it Black 21 or Red 22?
Me, I'm going to hedge my bets and put a chip in each.
Right.
But they're about to, as David's pointed out, they're about to casino gamble with your pensions, your savings, folks.
Yeah. Rien ne va plus.
And Stephen, you're right. Disaster capitalism goes on. Now, this one really, as I say, that one really annoys me. What Reeves is up to, David, because I'm 9 years out for collecting my pensions. In fact, you know, I've already drawn down on one of them, and I'll sue the government for losses in another one. But it looks like I'm going to end up with state pension and fuck all.
Yeah, I know that. It does mean that people on state pensions could end up a bit better off. I'm not talking about because all of a sudden they get a massive increase in money. I'm talking about as pensioners, the people on state pension alone are going to be poor in relation to those who have a state pension. And a private
pension, because we're all entitled to state pension.
So there you go. So therefore, if people lose their private pension and they are stuck on state pension, it means that we all own the same boat.
We'll all be in the same boat. But that's not going to be very good for the economy either, is it? Because we need people with disposable incomes for the market to work.
Yeah, I know that.
You know? Yeah. It's nuts, David. It's absolutely nuts. So as I'll put my phone on to charge because we work shortly and I want to listen to Reagan a week tonight. He's having a round table at 8 p.m. with Daily Blasey and I think one angry pagan. Daily Blasey, all shots and one angry pagan tonight. So there you go, folks. Daily Blasey is brilliant. Hold on. Hey, Roshan, thanks. We've got Joe DePeaty. Come on, Joe. Jordy, don't weave yourself
Yeah.
in, and we'll put
Please,
receipts up as well.
please, be careful. All right.
And hi, Lucian. I'm sorry I haven't been in the chat after the after show, Max's after show chats the last couple of times. I was in the other night.
Ocean Malone,
I missed a couple.
super chat, €5.
Yes. Russians in Ireland, and it's very generous of her because let's face it, we don't need food banks in Ireland.
Hang on to them euros because in a few years they'll buy a house in Britain.
I think Rosanna will do all right with it. She's already got a house, I think. Hey. Anyway, thanks very much, folks. You've been very generous today. Very, very generous. Yes. So, as I say, I'm raging with this one, David. Absolutely raging with this one. Because they will blow my workplace pension. And I'm saving hard. You know what I mean? I'm throwing money at it. Because I don't need that much money, so I can get my employer to help me out and I put in here. So, I could be losing a fucking fortune here. Again. Oh, the farmers. Oh, the farmers, Mr. E. Did you hear that? What do you call him? Terry, what do you call him? The Labour advisor. McSweeney. You hear him? On GB News. That Labour should just throw the farmers under a tractor the same way that Thatcher did the miners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need the farmers.
Mental.
We need the farmers.
Need farmers, need fruits. And I know what they're doing. They're trying to put small family businesses out of business so the big landowners can buy it up and then go to factory farming.
I know.
Whereas we would like our produce to be good quality and fresh.
Well, if you consider that Brexit effectively has meant that we're not getting as much in the way of fresh produce from abroad, we do need our farmers to keep producing in this country to ensure that our shelves are stocked. So what's that?
Yes. But anyway, apparently we don't need farmers. Because 60% of England's food is imported, we don't need farmers. Guess what, people in Scotland? We don't really import that much here.
What is it that affects? What's one of the items that badly affects inflation? Balance of payments. When your balance of payments are out of kilter, as in you import more than you export, then your inflation goes up the way.
Yep. Certainly does. Hi, one angry pagan. I see you there, friend. Right. So they say the pensions ones are going to be a right blow for us all, David. The next few years we could all lose out.
We'll keep an eye on this one. This is one definitely I think we should personally take issue with and keep an eye on. Right
now, David, as we know, Labour have promised to build 1.5 million houses over the next 5 years of the term of this Parliament. Now we have the guy who's been put in charge of achieving this target tell the government you're going to miss your target because the builders here in England, because this is about England, the builders in England can't complete that many houses in that amount of years. It's going to take them 10 years. Now, I spoke about this this morning as well. There are 650,000 people coming in legally each year just to keep the economy going. This dead economy going, by the way. This is a flatlined economy. And yet we still need that amount of people coming in to plug the gap in the amount of people our age who are leaving the workforce. So 1.5 million houses, they need to be building about 500,000 to 600,000 a year ongoing. Which means one thing, David, they need to build up.
Yeah, all right.
They need to build up.
They've done it.
Because we can't take all the farmlands and build new towns and all that. So what we need to do is take the towns we have a look at them and build up.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's been done before, and it's maybe if we look at some of the science fiction programs where it shows you the houses built on many different levels with your plants growing out of them and all the rest of it, right? Then that looks better. That looks better than what we had with the old sky rise. In the sky rise.
This is the matter, Dave. This is about practicality. This is about practicality. With a population, it's not really grown that much, to be fair, the population, because a good number of the people that are replacing have shuffled off this mortal coil.
Yeah. Okay.
And we don't need that amount of people coming in, because let's face it, we're not having that many kids ourselves anymore, because fiscally it's not manageable.
Chris has quite rightly said, Scotland has space for over 25 million people. And that's been said.
You know, Chris, I'm going to give you that. That's an actual fact.
Right.
That is what the calculate Scotland's population should be if we had control of our own borders. Scotland's population would be 25 million. The reason is no, because England would see us as a threat then.
Yeah, if you...
England would be tightly controlling our population for as long as I can remember, as long as David can remember, and as long as we've been in this. If
you look at the wide open spaces in Scotland that shouldn't be, it's down to the Highland clearances. It's down to the fact that people were literally thrown off these lands. So, and the answer to it is independence, independence, independence. I'm going to keep fucking saying independence, 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 all the way through.
On this issue here, David, I'm going to disagree with you, because even once we're independent, the landowners are still on that fucking land, and they'll decide whether anybody gets to live on it.
Doesn't matter. Once independent, we can actually have our legislature bring forward proper legislation that deals with the landowners. Simple as that.
I'm just telling you, there's nobody changing.
Simple as that.
Because once again, it brings us to fiscal problems. How do we buy all these people out so we can repopulate the land?
You don't have to buy them out. All you need to do is put their taxes up, put the individual taxes up, so that they have to pay to keep a hold of that land if they're a landowner.
What we do know, David, is after independence, we're going to have to manage the land much better. We're going to have to control the flow of people coming to Scotland, especially from south.
Let's have a land-based taxation system.
But anyway, this segment's not really about what we want to do here in Scotland or what's possible under independence, David, because we're talking about England. We're talking about housing targets for England and Wales here.
England will
only
learn once the people look at us after we're independent and realise, hang on, how come we don't have all that, right? And that's when it comes.
David, what makes you think they'll be any better informed in England than what they are now? After independence.
Well, okay. What's going to happen then is you're going to find that the broadcasting services, all the newspapers are going to put paper and all the rest of it across the border for Scotland, so that nobody can see what's going on inside Scotland once we're independent.
David, you don't have to do that. Right now, the English don't know about our better social contract. What makes you think it's going to be any different when we're independent? Their media will be tightly controlling the information they get.
But still in all, you'll have people from England that come to Scotland for holidays, and they're welcome, right? And they come to Scotland, we get talking to them. That's simple. And they go back home, and they go, people in Scotland have got X, Y, Z, right? End of story, David.
That's a bit like you and I claiming this program's have replaced the fucking news, David. I'm up here in holiday and I find out Scotland's got people. So I go down to England and I tell my mate tells his mate. So what?
We can but hope.
Of course we can but hope. But I don't see media getting any better after independence as well. We're in this bloody union. Maybe in Scotland they'll get a wee bit better. But I can't see the BBC giving up their stranglehold and the rest.
Well, BBC will have to deal with after independence. But you want to deal with BBC? Hope for independence, 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 and watch what happens.
David, there isn't a vote right now. See, I know you're trying to establish a new categories, but can we take it down about 2 times a programme?
Umpteen times a programme. Right. Anyway, next one.
Right,
we're running out of time.
Aye, we are running out of time, so they're going to make this the last one. We'll just need to cover Trump the next time. I want you to see this video, folks, because this video took my fucking stomach. And I think David felt this.
Full man, and I can assure you.
All right. Here we go, folks. This is Prime Minister's question. Sir Keir Starmer, there is no genocide in Gaza.
Article 2 of the United Nations Genocide Convention makes it explicitly clear that genocide is not about numbers, it's about intent. And the intent of the Israeli government and the IDF has been explicitly clear in words and in actions over the past 400 days. More than 45,000 innocent men, women and children killed. On the 28th of October, the Foreign Secretary denied that a genocide was even taking place and suggested that the Israeli army had not yet killed enough Palestinians to constitute a genocide. And last week, the PMQs, the Prime Minister started that he has never referred to the atrocities happening in Gaza as a genocide. Will the Prime Minister share his definition of genocide with this House? And will he state what further action he is prepared to take to save lives of desperate and starving men, women and children, given that we now hold the presidency of the United Nations Security Council?
It would be wise to start a question like that by reference to what happened in October of last year. I'm well aware of the definition of genocide, and that is why I've never described this and referred to it as genocide.
Wow, David.
Yeah.
A human rights lawyer defending a genocide and actually denying it's a genocide when the whole of the UK population, never mind just Scotland, the whole of the UK population can see it's a fucking genocide.
Yeah. Well,
we have what on social media and on mainstream media.
In your own words, that were very wise at the time, is that Starmer is hiding behind the fact that the International Court of Justice has not delivered their finding yet. What they're hanging about for, I don't know. I really don't know. Should have had a decision on this long before this.
By now.
Rather than these people stroking their beards, thinking what we're going to... Is it going to... Shut up. Is it going to be a genocide or not, right? As far as this is concerned, it's as simple as that. During the Second World War, Jewish people were put inside work camps and they were gassed. Was that a genocide? Yes, would be the answer, right? In this circumstance, we have got people in Gaza, men, women and children, right? Same as in the work camps in the Second World War. They have been bombed, they've been shot, they've been missiles thrown at them and all the rest of it, right? Is it genocide? Of course it is, right? And also, one further point on this, right? Starmer brings up October the 7th. It's like, I'm looking at this and I'm starting to think that October the 7th was gerrymandered by the Israel government to allow them to start their latest Nakba, which was going to take out Gaza so they can redesign it as being beachfront property for people that describe themselves as Israeli. Something like that.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's an excuse to wipe the people of Palestine out. Yeah. And the new American, and we'll not got time for it, but the new American ambassador to Israel has already told the Palestinians, get the fuck, we're not stopping.
Yeah.
Right, David, as you so rightly pointed out, we've run out of time, so there's no time to get through Trump's new cabinet and what it means for the world. You know, who's who and what offices have been filled so far. But folks, if you want to know, you can always use your search engine. Thanks everyone for your kind. But oh no, David, see before we do move on, and we round this show up. What I will say is that video we just watched of Keir Starmer, that's a good reason for independence, independence, independence.
Have I found a new convert? Possibly, put it that way, right? Is it possible we've got a new convert to independence?
Well, no, I haven't been campaigning for it for the last 25 years. I'm not a convert, David, I can assure you.
But over the past few weeks, you've been talking about SNP. Remember, independence surpasses the SNP. We need the SNP.
Of course it does, David.
Yeah.
Of course it does. Anyway, according to Kevin Rowe, it's ta-ta for now, hinge and bracket. No, that's better than some of the stuff will be called, Kevin, I can assure you. Anyway, folks, that's it for today. If anybody wants to go into the after show chat at 10 o'clock at night, I should be finished work by then. I'll pop in. The other thing is, David, we'll be back Monday to do it all again. Thanks for your kind contributions today. Very
Oh, yes. I mean, wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's up over £300 you guys have given today. That's an enormous amount. Thank you very much. And as you know, YouTube is a miserable gets, take 30% here. But what comes to us will go to the food banks, and next month will go out to the baby.
If any of you want to surpass that, right, you can do. David always manages to put on our bank account and sort code. And that means that people can give directly into the bank account, therefore bypass.
All you have to do is put a wee sign up in the open chat saying you've done it. We'll still put that up.
That's right.
And we'll still thank you. And we'll get the moderators to watch for people who say they've done it via the bank. Okay. All right. Now, say, David, that just leaves a couple of things left to say, and that is, go on then.
Bye, JB. Bye, guys.
I was waiting on 3 times independence before you said bye, David.
Enough of like.
Eyes on the prize, folks. Catch you in the morning. Don't be late. You'll be on the fucking naughty step. Bye for now. Bye, David.